Welcome into DC On Screen, a podcast about the DC Universe properties being brought to film and television. Hello, Gothamites. I am your host, David C. Robertson, and this, as always, is Jason.
Hello.
Today we are talking about Gotham Season 2, what to expect. This is going to be a very, loose forum show. Like, we're not going to be talking extensively, regurgitating any kind of news that we've talked about over the last few weeks or over the summer.
Yeah.
And we have been doing this all summer. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know. As far as news goes, it is going to end up being kind of a greatest hits because anything that we still remember without having, redone the entire summer's worth of news will, by its nature, be the more important things, right?
Right.
So that's why we didn't prepare for the show. We were trying to filter and process for you.
I rather believe we've been preparing for this show all summer.
I choose to think that too.
Because we're also going to be talking about some of our hopes and our fears and what we think they'll do and what we hope they'll do. So
yeah, I imagine it's largely what would we love for them to do, and then what will they do instead?
Yeah.
Because, we never quite get what we want.
No, but if we try sometimes, we might find we get what we need.
Oh, well, that's an important thing. That's a very wise phrase. What ancient philosopher?
I believe that was Mick Jagger.
Bestowed that. Oh, he is ancient. So that qualifies now. That's antique wisdom at this point. In Americana and Briticana. Britain-acana. Anglicana? Londicana.
Oh my God. Have you seen the Mark Maron bit where he's talking about Mick Jagger? He went to a Rolling Stones show and he's watching Mick Jagger dance around, and he's like, he thought for a second Mick Jagger was going to fall over and like break a hip, and he went, "Oh no, is this it?"
Is this the moment?
I was like, yeah, oh my God. Anyway.
I've been wanting, if anyone knows, I've been wanting to know for a very long time if this was apocryphal or if this is just a tall tale. Is Keith Richards actually going to donate his body to science when he's done with it?
I don't know. I've heard that for years.
He needs to.
It's very much like the famous Bill Murray story about him eating someone's fries and then saying no one will ever believe you.
Right. We don't know where the legend starts.
Speaking of legends starting, that's what Gotham's about.
Yay!
Segway!
You made it. God, I'm so proud.
Yeah! I
know.
I'm so proud.
Now we can just make it through an episode without mispronouncing someone's name.
Right. That's not going to happen.
Nope. Although I think the last news episode we accidentally did it.
Did we?
I think so. Didn't think about it. I think we actually managed.
Saucy.
God, I'm going to buy us like a cake. I'll buy myself a cake and mail you the other half.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna send an email to my old communications teacher. I did it. Miss Peavy, I did it.
I don't know if they're gonna be as proud as you're thinking.
No, they're gonna be like, who are you again?
Right. Why is this brain damaged young man emailing me?
Which is exactly what they thought when I was in their class. So,
so I go, oh yeah, that's right, Dave. I remember him. And they'll say it with like a sneer on their voice, Dave.
Yeah, Mr. Roberts.
There's no way we could make it through this. I mean, look at some of the names on this freaking cast list, man. You got your Benjamin McKenzie's and your Robin Taylors and then your Corey Michael Smiths and your Jada Pinkett Smiths and your Donald Logues and your Pertwees and Richards, and then it's okay. So we made it through about 7.
That was almost lyrical.
It was wonderful, wasn't it? But then you get
Corey
into
Michael Smiths and your Jada Pinkett Smiths.
I'm going to go ahead and ruin us here. Like Cameron Bekandova, David Miranda Baccarin, yeah, okay. Sabrina Guevara, Victoria Cartagena. What the hell, people?
For the remainder of this podcast, Dave and Jason will only be referring to these people through their character names.
Yes, it's a good point. Let's do that. But let's actually talk about them, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, all right, all the shows we got coming out that we cover. Mm-hmm. Is this the one you're most excited about?
Is Gotham the one that... No, Gotham is not the one I'm most excited about.
Flash?
Yep.
Okay, that's fair. Now, Flash is just too damn fun. I get it.
The Flash is bringing in multiverses. Okay. The Flash is bringing in multiverses.
All right.
Now, what I'll say for Gotham is...
I guess we'll get into that next week, though, right? Because that's what we're doing next week is Arrow Flash preview.
Yeah. So, man, but what Gotham has going for it is that it's pre-Batman Batman. And Batman is my favorite character in the history of fictional characters.
Right.
So it's got that going for it, which is nice.
It's Proto-Bat.
Right. We've got Proto-Bat and Schrodinger's Joker. And Beat Cop Gordon and Badass Alfred. Now, where did we leave off on these characters? What in season 1, we've got the Penguin has usurped Fish Mooney's throne and has usurped, even to some extent, I suppose, Carmine Falcone's throne, and he is, as he proclaimed, in a very Titanic.
Yeah, did he
exclamation?
Did you think Penguin's character watched I imagine he did. Like the night before, he fell asleep watching Titanic, and then he gets up the next day.
I would say so. However, for them to ever actually admit that would place Gotham in a time frame, which is a huge no-no.
This is true. Now they could go old school. There were a few Titanics, but none of them with that scene, that iconic piece of silliness.
Right. So
he's King of Gotham.
He's King of Gotham. He's King of Gotham, y'all.
Good for us, too, because watching him keep his power, as McKinsey has referred to it, that's the problem now, right? You've got power. What do you do?
Right.
Watching Penguin try to keep his throne and play King of the Mountain is going to be fucking great. People going to die,
I hope it's going to be great. I hope it's going to be great.
There will be blood.
Not
like that lame movie where there's no blood.
Right. What gives me pause is when he obtained Fish Mooney's nightclub in season 1, not a whole lot happened. Like, he had some hipster emo people up in there, and nothing was really happening. I really wanted to see Penguin thrive. I wanted to see him.
He got on his haunches a little bit. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But it turned out he was really good at high-level scheming and really not great at, basic management skills. Like, he didn't know where to get liquor. Butch had to tell him.
Well, he knew where to get it. He just didn't know how to get it.
Right. And then he didn't know how to do an actual heist. He just kind of Butch had to kind of explain to him how actual organized crime works. But, man, high-level stuff, you can't beat him.
Well, it's just that organized crime is a little more on the nose than Penguin was actually thinking it would be. Like,
he adapted, didn't he? I mean,
He adapted. He did.
He got used to it. Bringing the poison cannolis and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean,
dude gets his hands dirty
early on.
It's not like he's not willing to learn.
That was part of my problem. That was part of my problem. Is like he was part of an organized crime syndicate. He watched how this stuff went down. He schemed behind the scenes, poisoned cannolis, did the whole 9. Got to a great position. Got to a place played sides against each other.
Did a wonderful job.
In the second half of the season, he knew nothing.
So the whole point of it was that he is now on top, and Falcone's gone. Falcone? Yep. They were the ones still saying Falcone, right?
No, they said Falcone.
No, that's right. The stupid Nolan films. All right, so they've got the name right. Now Maroney done got shot.
He's dead.
He did. Fish went for a long swim.
Hopefully a long swim.
Oh God, yeah. That was one of those way too on point kind of thing. You toss fish in the water, really? Anyway,
bad character anyway.
Killed me. So we hope she's gone. Have you? I don't remember. Did we have? We didn't have any real news about whether they were ever going to bring her back.
There was a mention that she might come back for an episode, but we haven't actually. I don't remember any news that said that we were going to get her back, and I think I would have remembered that, like concrete evidence that we were going to get her back.
No, there's no concrete evidence. That part I'm sure about. I don't think I remember seeing her on a cast list anywhere in season 2.
Importantly, I think it's interesting to note that Donald Logue has been suspiciously absent from news this summer. I've seen almost nothing of him.
You don't have to. He's Harvey.
Which, yeah, I guess he doesn't really have much of a character arc, does he?
Right. Like, what's he going to do? His entire character arc for season 1 was, Jim, you rascal, you're making my life more difficult. Turns into, Jim, you son of a bitch, you're right. How do we get this done?
Yeah.
That's it. That's his entire arc. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not being flippant. I thought it was fantastic. Especially the scene where he comes over with what is obviously a lady of the evening. And celebrates in Jim's room. You know, come on.
You know what? I didn't think that she was obviously a lady of the evening.
You didn't?
I actually did just get the impression that it was just kind of a skanky girl that Harvey knew.
You know, that's the thing. I'm not. I think you're probably right, but that I am too. I think he just actually knows a lot of prostitutes and doesn't pay.
That might be completely fair. You know what? I like your version. I like your version of that.
He's just, you know, got a lot of stripper numbers in his phone book. That's all.
So where we're going to be picking up in season 2, Jim Gordon, after Carmine has, you know, given him a knife and said, you know, this was a gift from your father and blah, blah, blah. The city doesn't need my kind anymore. It needs a good lawman. Unfortunately, Commissioner Loeb does not see it that way and has once again demoted Jim, and he's going to be a traffic cop.
Right. We're gonna meet Jim this season in an orange freaking vest, like at a school crossing.
I mean, the last thing that we saw Jim say to Loeb was, "I'm taking you down." So I mean, you know,
yeah, it's true. What do you give me on the odds that the first line of dialogue in Jim's season is a sigh?
Well, that is probably a pretty good bet. I mean, Jim goes between, it's really weird because I went back and I watched like the first like 10-15 minutes of the first episode a few nights ago. And
trying to get the feel back.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna go back for probably
really
the last
weird.
like 2 or 3 episodes when it starts.
He actually, like, Jim Gordon, Ben McKenzie plays him way more normal, like realistic in the first part of that season.
He hadn't gone into hyper-machismo mode yet.
Right. And by the end of the season, he's always gritting and his mouth is always open. He's always got like the grimace going, and he's like walking like a cowboy, and he's actively growling at people.
Yeah, but if I had just gotten to Gotham and then had spent a few months there, that's what I would start doing too.
I guess.
You better start swaggering if you got a badge on, or somebody gonna kill you.
Yeah, but you know, it's almost like McKenzie's Jim Gordon has just become. That's what he is. What he reminds me of. He's like young Archie Bunker,
without all the racism.
Right, without all the racism. He just seems like at any moment he's gonna turn to Harvey and be like, "Stifle there, Harvey, huh?
Right.
I got Commissioner Loeb on my back, and I also got Captain Eston on my back."
I didn't think it was that bad.
It's getting there.
Now, Loeb is a quivering little coward. He can always.
I always enjoy that actor when I see him.
You know what he reminds me of though is, do you remember in I can't remember which part of the Long Halloween it's in, but there's a part where the Riddler gets like taken out back and shot at, and he just has this. It's almost like a Scooby-Doo kind of look to the way they draw him. It really is. It's quivering. He's got no spine whatsoever. Which is going to be
Tim Sale, the artist.
Yeah, yeah. Not the most. I don't know. Not the most intimidating drawing of the Riddler I've ever seen. But
yeah, I never felt like the Riddler should be an intimidating character. Anyway, he's a villain of the mind. He's not a.
Yeah, that can be the most intimidating if you do it correctly.
If you do it correctly, but you know, I don't necessarily want to see like a big hole, because like for a while they would draw him like in the spandex suit and he had muscles, like he was as big as Batman.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
Never really bought that.
I mean, you know, it's different if you give him Venom. That was a fun little scene, but
but still,
this is no. I'm good with a tiny little quisling of a man Riddler, but.
Yeah.
Same as like Mad Hatter. Mad Hatter's not going to punch anybody.
No. But he'll rape some kids, but he won't punch anybody.
He'll destroy your world. It just, won't be overtly physical.
Right.
Or primarily at least.
So yeah.
So speaking of which and you saw the first look for this Riddler and previously expressed your hatred of the trope and the mirror concept in general.
Yeah, they released a preview and he's talking to himself in the mirror, and the mirror itself is. I almost cracked up at one part where he was like, "Stop copying me," and the guy, the version of the mirror says that's how mirrors work. Right. That was good. I did crack a smile at that. But I was so annoyed by the mirror trope that I'm like, oh yes, let's see the fracturing psyche. He's got to talk to himself in the mirror. I don't know. It just seemed very cliche, and so did the scene right before it, like the little bit right before it, where like poor traffic cop Gordon's talking to Edward, and then he gets called, and he kind of looks at him and sighs, like, well, "That's me," or whatever. I'm like, God, you poor burdened upon man, you did this to yourself.
Don't look sad.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with the cliche part. It just is. There's nothing I can do to fix that. But he does a really good job. So it got me through it. It's an overused vehicle, no doubt. But I want to see more of that guy in the mirror, though. I
kind of don't. I don't want to see.
Is it just because you don't want it to have a fractured psyche, though, or is it because you actually don't have any interest in that character?
It's not because I don't have any interest in the character. It's because the Riddler has never been to me a fractured psyche. Like,
no.
He's just a little bastard. That's all he is. That's all he's ever been. He's just a little bastard.
But I think though it's going to be it's post traumatic fracturing. I don't think I don't think this is like a manifestation of dissociative identity of any kind. It's just plain how he's reacting to something extreme in his life, which apparently is going to come out as even more riddles, you neurotic bastard, and talking to himself in the mirror, because what he's doing is developing a mechanism where he can talk to the person that was terrible enough to actually kill another human being. I think he eventually just ends up being a nice amalgam of those two characters that doesn't have a fractured anything. He's just embraced the crazy.
I mean, I'm hoping that's where it goes, but
that's the end game to me still. So I guess that's why I'm not really. I think that's what they're doing, and for some reason, I feel overly confident about that. I have no justification for being that confident, but I'm going with it, and that's getting me through that scene.
Yeah, I am interested to see the evolution of Edward. Mm-hmm. The showrunners are not giving me a whole lot of hope, honestly, because like they released other previews with Theo Galvin, the new character, like the new big bad. He's brought in a whole group of people, a whole group of bad guys, one of which would be Sionis, Black Mask, and Schrodinger's Joker, as we call him, and
lovingly referred to,
and Barbara. And we've also seen a scene with Jerome and Barbara in prison, and Barbara is so over the top, and Jerome is only, or Schrodinger's Joker, is only fun about half the time. Like, he's only actually really good at what he's doing about half the time, I feel like. So
I think within the context of the episode, you're gonna enjoy his experience more. I think
maybe.
I think when it comes to the actual pacing of the episode and where he fits into it, I think you'll enjoy him more. But
maybe, but like the music is like this plinkty plink, like comedy, old school comedy music that I'm just not digging for the series. I'm not digging that. I
haven't minded it. I really haven't. I mean,
unless this is
I didn't want him to pull out the music from The Wire or some shit. Well, they didn't have music in The Wire, did they? I don't want him to pull out really deep, Zimmery kind of crap.
I don't want Zimmery crap either. I don't want to feel like I'm watching a cartoon. And by cartoon, I don't mean like Batman the Animated Series, which I probably would have been fine with that musical score. God bless you, Shirley Walker.
Seriously. Good work.
Like, this is a scene they would have played in the animated series as with just no music, no soundtrack, and it would have had a lot more. Power. I think. Like, they're not using their musical cues correctly, and they're not using the right types of music. I feel so, but it's just feeling more and more like that second part of season 1, where I swear to God there was a shift. There was a shift in the show where it went from being like gritty gangster drama to being a friggin' cartoon. And I feel like we are going to get exactly more of that. They're introducing Mr. Freeze, Clayface, Firefly. I mean, geez, man.
Yeah, I'm on the completely other side of that as far as my reception. The gritty like gangster was fine, but man, the villains are a lot more fun. They always have been. It's best rogues gallery in the history of fiction. Use it.
Yeah, but My fear is that we're going to be getting a lot more of the Joel Schumacher-esque version of those characters than, something new and interesting, or even something old and sacred like Batman the Animated Series, because that show, even with the gaudiness of those villains, they took those villains seriously. Sure. And it doesn't fit with that music that they keep playing over all the Arkham scenes, and with those villains, it does not feel serious. It feels like hijinks are about to ensue.
I'm not feeling that, though. I think they're making it work. Plus, we haven't been able to rule out that the first look isn't adding a little bit of music that's not going to be there in the actual episode.
God, I hope that's the case.
I admit that's an outside shot, but it is at least possible.
I mean, I would venture to guess that they've already got the first episode in the can and edited and done.
I don't know. They got a few days. They're probably still tweaking a couple of things.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully. Tweak.
You don't know yet. You don't know yet.
I don't know yet.
It could be the best episode that's ever been made, and they're going to tweak the hell out of it and kill it. You don't know.
I don't know yet, but,
We're just going to have to roll with these folks.
But then again, I'm looking at the fact that, Supergirl leaked like 3 or 4 months ago. So
right. Lucifer's already out.
Yeah.
They don't even have an air date for that yet. I don't even sure I don't know if they know when principal photography is happening. See, I remember that word that we had to remember.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Things leak. They do.
So we've had word that that Leslie Tompkins and Jim Gordon might not be working out. They're going to be together, but there's going to be some problems. That came from Marina Baccarin. Honestly, I really hope that she finds her way over to Wayne Manor. I could give two shits about her and Jim Gordon. I want to see her over at Wayne Manor.
You want her with Alfred, huh?
I do want her with Alfred. But more importantly than that, I want her with Bruce. Not in that way, but I want her to be the surrogate mother for Bruce.
You want the mother figure around for him.
Right.
See, I was kind of thinking it was going to work out as Gordon feeling like a really close uncle that he can confide in, and by virtue of that, he gets the aunt with him. So he gets to know Tompkins a little bit, and I could have gotten behind that too.
Right.
It's better than the best. The biggest female influence in poor little Bruce's life right now is Selina. That's not good.
Right. Well, he's about to get another one because the little
silver.
Little proto silver St. Cloud.
Right.
She's going to be there.
Right.
And God, man.
She's going to be the one that convinces him to, look into the whole vigilante thing.
Right now, I would say that Gotham, we're going into season 2.
Mm-hmm.
If they have any plans on making this a long-running series, we're not going to see much of anything interesting in season 2. Just my guess. Like that generally season 2 is not going to be a breaking of any molds. Like
the arrow really hurt you.
Know.
You've learned to fear season 2.
Oh well, Buffy made me hope again, but
sure. Season 2 of Firefly was pretty good.
No, shut up.
No.
That was saying.
Mean. I'm just saying they're not all bad. It would have been good.
Yeah, I don't like in a series like this where you're talking about we're still telling the story of how all these people came to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well they're tackling the villains in season 2. What the hell do they do in season 3? Season 3, it's probably going to be worse than season 2. We're going to see, rise of the villains, and then season 3 is going to be like, okay, follow the villains.
Well, yeah, you're not going to see rise of the villains and follow the villains and then curtains. May. It's on Fox, and they're going to have some serious numbers to keep everything going. But
yeah, they will.
I think it's probably season 2, Rise of the Villains, season 3, Rise of the Heroes.
Mm. Oh, well, that would be kind of interesting. Except that we can't have Batman until the last episode of the last season, the last scene of the last.
We can have a lot of people that are around. I still want to see Montoya come back as a question. I don't actually want to see that character come back the way she was boring. But if she came back with the no face mask on, game on.
They're playing around a lot with the timeline and everything.
Could have been Spectre for you.
Bruce is a little kid, and all these villains are showing up, and we've got a, Proto-Joker and pre-embryonic Joker, whatever they're calling it. Who I'm really excited about for this season, though, is Nick DeGasto, the Harvey Dent.
Yes.
I am really excited to see where his character goes.
Yeah, he's menacing, downright menacing when he turns on the Two-Face.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, really looking forward to him. And they don't have a lot going on with him. He doesn't have an arc right now. They're going to have to kind of shoehorn him in somewhere.
Well, I don't think they're going to shoehorn him in. Like so far they've done a pretty good job with him. Like where he's just kind of helping Gordon out. Like, he and Gordon are trying to fix
sabotaging
things.
the plan because he tells somebody.
And then all of a sudden, just oh my God, the rage.
Yeah. Now that we've talked about him, I really do. I'm going to go back and watch like that scene. Just 'cause it was so good. It was so fun to see him turn into.
He is one of those characters that I feel like should have a fractured psyche, and am really enjoying how not on the nose they're playing that. It's just like, well, he lost his temper once.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's not what happened.
And he does, have a coin.
By the way, Nick
really
DeGasto should be proud because I think he's better in the role than Aaron Eckhart was.
Well, that is impressive. That is impressive. I didn't know you had it in you to be optimistic about something.
Oh yeah, sure I do. But I like that kid from Masters of Sex. I liked that kid before. Like he showed a very similar trait in Masters of Sex. So when he was cast as Harvey Dent, I was actually really excited, and he didn't disappoint me. I'm not saying he won't. I'm just saying so far I'm really happy. Now, what I'm really happy about, if they go this way with it, if they turn Barbara into a villain and then reform her, but do so with meds, I could totally, if they get her on meds and Gordon actually does marry her and all that crap, I could totally see her being the character she was or winds up being in Frank Miller's Year One. And because she's nuts, I could totally, that makes total sense for me that she would wind up giving birth to Jim Gordon Jr., who in the comics was a serial killer.
Yeah, he was, he's true evil. The darkest day of the Joker, he'd be pretty impressed by what Jimmy gets up to.
So if they're going in that route, I
if
still
they went down
hold
that road,
a
it
lot
would be
of
fantastic. Hope. Now, if they did go down the same road, back to Year One, even, there's never been any spark between him and Sarah Essen. But if you're going to go down that far,
yeah, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind there being something between Jim and Sarah Essen at some point. I don't. If
right
they're
now, it would be weird.
Show,
they've never had any on-screen anything.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, I don't think it would be weird.
Brother-sister kiss right now.
Well, right now it's is very much she's his boss, but the other part of that though is she respects the hell out of Jim Gordon.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of a fun dynamic I enjoyed a little bit towards the end of last season because she was rooting for him. Jim was her spirit animal, but she still had to keep him in check.
All know, and we all know, spirit animal leads to Nookie, man.
I'm not sure that's actually true. I may have to stop you there.
Oh my God. But it was funny to say. It was fun to say. I'll say that. Maybe not funny, but it was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. And you have. You've been so disappointed, and you almost sound beleaguered about what's pending on television. And
I am beleaguered.
It's good to hear you laugh again, Dave.
I'm beleaguered about Gotham because nothing they have shown me for this upcoming season has piqued my interest or gotten me truly excited.
Oh man! See that scene with Theo and the criminals. I really enjoyed. I think that's going to be a great start.
I have no interest in Theo Galvin. I don't know who he is. If he's Ra's al Ghul, screw
I hope he's not
them.
Ra's.
If he's Hugo Strange, screw them.
I could get a little bit more behind Hugo Strange.
You know what? I have less interest for as little interest as I have in Ra's al Ghul. I have less interest in Hugo Strange.
Really?
I hate Hugo Strange as a character.
Aww.
And it's not because, it's really not because I hate him as a character, honestly. It's because I've never enjoyed any story with him in it.
That's not true.
Except for that one Batman the Animated Series episode where he was selling Batman's true identity to all the supervillains, and then when he unveils it as Bruce Wayne, they all scoff at him.
Right. Now, that was good. one example of a story where you enjoyed Hugo Strange.
Okay.
Arkham games.
Well, that was a twofer, though, to be fair. That was Hugo Strange and Ra's al Ghul at the same time.
I know, and somehow they managed to make both of them fun because Dini.
Yeah. But yeah, that was both good. That was good. Like, but that was a fluke, man. I mean,
I'm just saying it's an exception that proves the rule, but it is at least possible. And I wouldn't be against a Hugo Strange. And hey, maybe they get it right this time.
But this cat doesn't seem anything like Hugo Strange, and they keep saying that he's like a key player. Whatever. I mean, so far, you know what I believe? I don't believe that he's going to be anybody. I think he's exactly who he says he is.
They've made up a character.
It's gonna be another damn fish Mooney. I have no interest in that.
Another damn fish Mooney.
And I don't want Gotham fans to think that I'm just down on the show. But if you're listening to this show and you're a Gotham fan, even if if you've loved it more, especially if you have loved it even more as it went on, leave us a comment and let us know why. Because for me, like, I loved Gotham for the first half of that season. Like, for the first half of the first season, I loved Gotham so much. I thought it was gritty. I thought it was dark. I thought it was understated in all the right ways.
Something they were doing really well was subtle hints of who Bruce would end up being. They did a fantastic job. Like the episode with the Balloon Man. They have that wonderful little scene. Like, Bruce is kind of not eating a lot. And he sees the thing about the Balloon Man, and he gets this whole. You see him have the thought that he's going to need his strength,
right?
Because there's going to be a long road ahead of him, and he's going to need to face guys like this. And he picks up the plate and starts actually eating. I know it's a simple scene, but it was really subtle underpinnings of the bat,
right? So I mean, if you liked the second half of season 1 better and are really excited about where this is going. And I know you guys exist because I've seen you on Tumblr. Let me know why. Please make it a somewhat well thought out reasoning. Don't just say I suck or something. But
I mean,
we'll talk about it on the show. Give you a shout out.
I'm not nearly as hopeless. I want to say as you. Man,
no, you're not.
I really did like the first half of season 1. Just loved the hell of it. But when they transitioned a little bit to it, ramping up the comic aspect of it, I was just as excited about that.
Well, like, I felt like it was just such a strange tonal shift, and it was like they were on a break for like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then we came back, and it was that it was the Joker episode. It was the Schrodinger's Joker episode with the circus and everything. And it was just, oh my God. Like, Gordon's with Leslie Tompkins now, and he's walking around, and she's like, he's talking about, I don't know, she's basically saying they can't have sex, and he's like, what? And I'm like, what? Why are you suddenly just needing to jizz on everything? Like,
because he's a walking ball of bravado.
It starts in that episode pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, he did come back pretty...
Yeah, and it may have actually started the day that the episode where he like took down all of Sionis's men.
Did you not hear the sack drop somewhere during that scene? You heard clink, clink.
I heard lots of things drop. I guess a couple of testicles could have been in there as well, but
yeah.
I don't know.
That was a good fight. It was a good fight.
It felt like something was tonally off about the show. It felt like I stopped watching season 1 and somehow skipped ahead to season 5. You know how like you'll watch a show and like season 1 is like pretty realistic and everyone's understated, but then like by the end of a run of a show, like everyone is just way, way out there. Like their characters are just overblown. This happens on most television shows in case anyone who's listening hasn't ever watched TV ever. Right. But
it's a pretty common concept though, yeah.
So I imagine by actual season 5 of Gotham, like everyone's just going to be CGI, and not even good CGI.
No, you're going to get that in season 2 of Gotham. There's going to be a Clayface, man.
Maybe
you're not going to have to wait till season 5.
It's going to be Schrodinger's Clayface or something.
Right. Yeah,
it's going to be like a guy who likes
5
clay.
Is going to be like Gotham in space. They'll have relocated the entire city.
Yeah,
and they'll be trying to fight the lanterns with Manhunter at their back. Actually, that
but
sounds
they'll
great.
all
Let's
have
do that.
like,
can we do that?
They'll all have fish bowls.
great.
Yeah, they'll all have fish bowls on their heads, and they'll all have traveled to space using giant penis-shaped rockets.
Right.
And so to keep the timeless aspect, we don't want to know what time
all
frame
rockets
they're
are penis shaped. Don't take that out on them.
I'm not completely hopeless. I mean, I'll be damned, dude. We've still got Alfred to look forward to.
Is that all you've got, though, Alfred? Don't get me wrong. I'm really excited about Alfred, but come on. Reach deep. What are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to? I do love the kid that plays Bruce. That kid kills it. That kid kills it every time. And I do love Alfred. I love the hell out of Alfred.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm not looking forward to is almost everything else.
No, you said Two-Face.
Okay, Two-Face. I said almost everything else.
Okay.
But, I mean, God, man, where could they possibly go that would be at all interesting at this point?
I kind of think what they are doing is what I'm looking forward to. Because I don't think Rise of the Villains is going to be as much of a disaster as the internet would have you believe.
It's not the internet that would have me believe it. It's just what I'm seeing, and
yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of reactions to as they were casting over the summer. You started seeing, okay, well, haven't we kind of hit max capacity for villain? Oh wait, no, there's another one. And people freaking out and. I get it.
Well, people freaking out holds
that shark
no
got
water
jumped
with
about
me.
the time you had an entire Pike family just to introduce a Firefly.
Right. And nothing about that Pike family seems interesting to me at all.
The kid that's going to be in charge of it actually is pretty interesting. He's a good actor. He should be able to carry you through it.
He might be able to, man. I don't think I know him from anything.
When you get the young Firefly, I forget what her name was going to be, but when you get her, you're also going to get some more stuff with Selina. So hopefully that'll get you through it. Hopefully Selina will decide what kind of character she is, and maybe even what dialect she speaks in.
What? Well, no. See, this is one of the reasons why you're the co-host here. But here you are trying to imbue me with hope and then give me another reason to hate the show.
I'm not trying to be unrealistic. There's nothing unearned.
I know.
But come on. That was a poor choice. We all know that.
I mean, no.
Didn't you expect her to pull out like Mama Don't Shiv somewhere in there?
Oh,
in that
God.
last episode?
I kind of did.
No. Fish don't shiv.
I half expect anyone at any given time to look at Selina and say chicken legs licking schmegs, but whatever it was, licking chegs.
Licking chegs.
Bringing up some old Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns lingo here in case anyone doesn't know what that is.
I feel confident.
I
feel confident
fully
expect that anyone listening was in on that. But
I fully expect that people who watch Gotham, not all, but Batman and Gotham in general gets a mainstream audience as well. So I'm for God's sake, man, I talked to a guy who didn't know why Batman and Superman would be fighting and proclaimed to be a Batman fan. So let's just be fair here and assume that a fair amount of the people watching Gotham don't know anything about Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, or most of the comic book stuff because they followed it from Adam West to Michael Keaton to George Clooney. And
yeah, if you've just hit the on-screen reproductions, you missed a lot of the background that's going to get you a BVS.
That's fine. It's just I just figured I'd name drop the graphic novel for those who were not in the know.
Who need to
I am
get
not
in if they're not. But
I am not at all interested in what Selina's up to.
Oh, I'm curious.
They could write her off the show for all I care.
No. She's still good. She's still got connections to the actual Wayne murders. That
I know.
I feel like need to be explored more than they have been.
I could deal with them dropping that, and the moment I felt that way, I decided that I felt that way was the moment that she went through her little teenage phase, as Bruno Heller described it, and joined Fish Mooney for no discernible reason. I think it was the exact moment when she said,
because
we
she
ain't
thought she was
we ain't children, and it ain't morning.
Right. I know that was just poor, but and apparently one of her weaknesses is that she follows mermaids who climb out of the sea.
Magical gut shot mermaids.
Magical gut shot, not a problem somehow. back on their feet in good time and manage to, I guess, use the pieces of the bullet that exploded around her spleen, pulled them out, and fashioned them to the side of her head, which I'm sure makes a striking image coming out of the water at night.
I shall... From now on, I shall refer to Fish Mooney as Bedazzled Callisto.
Right. No, Selina's going to have some fun stuff to do. At the very least, I think she's still the key. 'Cause she's a contemporary of Bruce, and he doesn't have a lot of people like that in his life that he can actually, talk to, first of all, and then beyond that, actually be able to relate to in any way. And give him some shit on the way. And she's an important part of him being able to grow up like that and not be just... He's going to need to know how to be social. Not because he needs to know how to be social for Batman. That's obviously not a problem. But he needs to know how to put on the face of Bruce. And I think she's going to help him learn. And on top of that, she's going to be the morally ambiguous character in his life that I hope at some point he realizes that's who she's going to be, but I can be something better.
Right. And, but here are specifically the things that I'm not looking forward to that they've already set up. Mm-hmm. There's obviously going to be like a little mini proto-love triangle between Bruce, Silver St. Cloud, and Selina. I think obviously Selina's going to get jealous of or be jealous of the time that he's spending with Silver St. Cloud. I feel that. I feel that's going to happen.
Sure.
And also, I'm not looking forward to these troubles between Gordon and Leslie Tompkins. I feel like
that's going to be a little boring. This isn't supposed to be a love story for me. I don't give a fuck who's fucking who. I don't care.
I don't either. And I mean, that's where the show is going to start really swirling down the drain for me because, I mean, make it a cartoon if you have to. But don't make it a boring love story cartoon.
No, look, this show, I don't need the love stories so much. I mean, if you can make it relevant and make it good, fine. But what I want to see is I want to see the development of Batman, and I want to see Jim Gordon, put his foot on some criminal throats. That's why I'm tuning in. And I want Harvey to be able to sit there and quip in the background.
Right. And,
is there anything about Harvey, by the way, that you're not looking forward to?
Is there anything about Harvey Bullock that I'm not looking forward to?
Yeah.
Harvey... I
think he may be an exception for you at least, right?
Harvey is an exception for me. Harvey is there. He's not something I'm looking forward to, but he's not something I'm dreading.
Quite a eulogy. Harvey was there.
Right.
And now he's not there.
Sometimes. Harvey is fun sometimes when they decide not to write him like a retard, essentially. Every once in a while they get this, I'll call it, I'll call it Lance syndrome.
I completely understand.
Every once in a while he has the Quentin Lance syndrome where he becomes some ridiculous cartoon, and then other times he's fine and he's a lot of fun.
It ends up being perfect for me because there's so much swagger in the show, and some of the scenes with Harvey and Jim just 2 inches from each other's nose sneering they were some of my favorite parts of last year. Every time they had a little standoff in the middle of the police station, which, by the way, no one even noticed because that's just how people operate in this world. On the daily, you go up to a coworker and get right in his damn face about something.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair,
sometimes it's Falcone, sometimes it's the last donut, whatever.
At this point, it's just everyone in the GCPD is just oh, that's just Gordon getting on the high horse again.
Yeah, but they're all rooting for him. I mean, he kind of got rid of the Flasks of the world. Things are looking up as far as Team Gordon, and as soon as he gets rid of Loeb,
the only way I've actually been able
getting rid of Loeb.
The only way I've actually been able to actively get past the idea that Gordon went from being sort of a subdued character to this machismo cowboy character is that he finally realized that to actually operate in the GCPD, he basically had to pretend he was in jail.
Right. That's my point, though. You go spend a few days on the Gotham police force and see if you don't start posturing.
He's just okay, on your first day, you better hit somebody over the head with a chair or they'll make you their bitch,
Right.
So
I was waiting for him to pull out the Rorschach line, I'm not locked in here with you.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time, probably.
So let's talk about something that you're not looking forward to.
That I'm not looking forward to?
Yeah.
Oh. So what am I really...
And that I am.
Oh, okay, go.
Michael Chiklis.
Oh, God, yeah, fuck. Me.
I'm looking forward to Michael Chiklis.
So
Now,
here,
what I'm
Michael
not looking
Chiklis.
forward to, is Michael Chiklis becoming a bad guy somehow.
Eventually becoming a bad guy, right?
That sounds like a pain in the ass. That sounds like something I don't want to see. We
No,
have
I
enough
don't.
conflict in this show. We have enough
He has
conflict
been
in this show.
suspiciously absent from like anything other than the announcement that he would be around. And then they gave a quick, like, paragraph, less than a paragraph, of description of his character, and then that's it. Nothing in the previews, nothing.
Yeah. Now, I think it would have been way more interesting, and it would be more interesting. Like, I don't want to see him become a bad guy and be a problem for Jim Gordon. And you know what would be interesting also is, like, okay, first of all, let me get my first thought out. I'm starting to brainstorm here, but if he dies a martyr, it would be really cool.
That's what I'm really hoping happens.
Also,
like maybe
it would be
that's
really
the moment
cool.
where we find out just how sick Theo is or something.
Right. But let's look at what we've actually seen here. We know that Gordon is he's going to be delving deeper into his dark side for this season. He's going to be bending the rules a little bit more. He's going to be getting more to about the place where Bullock was
Bullocking
at the
it up a
beginning
little
of the
bit.
series. Right. He's going to Penguin asking for favors and whatnot, even though it bothers him to no end.
No, he's doing it for different
Now,
reasons. Bullock did it because it made his life easier, and
He's doing it for
Jim's
different
doing it
reasons.
for the opposite.
But, well, I mean, y'all came here for different reasons.
Well, yeah.
But y'all came to the same place.
You all accepted the job.
And Gordon aims to misbehave. So
Good.
yeah,
He is actually as close as...
Yeah.
No, he's about as close as we're going to get to Mal on Fox for a while.
I know. So what if this mentor of Gordon's, what if Michael Chiklis winds up coming against, because they didn't specifically say that he was going to become a bad guy. They said he was going to be trouble for Gordon.
Yeah, but...
So let's look at how that was phrased and say, how likely is it that Gordon's going to get on the wrong side of the law with this guy? Like, this guy thinks that Gordon's part of the problem too.
He probably will.
Yeah.
And that's the only, well, other than him dying a martyr, which might at least be interesting, and it would reprieve me of having to look at Michael Chiklis. It would at least be interesting if he comes on board, wants to do what Jim wanted to do a year ago, and the way he sees it, Jim is just another one of them now, and Jim has to take a look at his own behavior and go, you know what, I've bitten off parts of the wrong. I've gone too far, and pull himself back and get more of the black and white area. And and then he can become a fine example for Bruce of don't try the whole gray thing, doesn't work out for you.
Yeah. So if they do that, I'll be excited.
I could get behind that.
Now let's talk about this. What do you think is going to be the outcome? What do you think season 2 holds for Wayne Enterprises and Bruce? Because we know Lucius is going to be in the show a lot more.
Right. Yeah, Lucius is coming on strong, and whatever that relationship is going to be for them, it looks like it's going to be a mechanism for Bruce to learn more about his father. And his father, we still don't know. No, they haven't mentioned, there's not a good piece of data out there anywhere to say what it was he was into. We don't, if he had gotten into the vigilante thing a little bit, maybe. That seems a little far-fetched, though, for now.
I really hope he did not. I hope he did not.
I'm thinking it's more, maybe he's just, you know what, now that I think about it, I'm hoping it's this. We find out that Thomas Wayne was the great detective. And he gets down there and he sees the lab and he sees what Lucius was up to, and he finds out that he was the guy that can put all the pieces together, figure out where the real problem is, and do something about it. Now, his version wasn't to put on a costume and go beat somebody, but maybe Thomas's version was a little different, maybe more, intra-legal. And maybe it hadn't even gotten started by the time he got killed. Maybe that's why he got killed. But maybe he is the world's greatest detective, or the guy who at least shows what will be that person the ropes, even posthumously.
Maybe he was running an underground railroad for more ethical
For
executives.
good cops, right?
For ethical executives.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's possible. Of course, we live in a post-Snyder world. You could get down there and realize that the basement has a bunch of owl masks. Fuck, I don't know.
Oh my god! Yeah, I thought about that earlier. Do you think they might bring in the Court of Owls, man?
Nah, I don't think so. It would fit here, though. If they were going to do it somewhere, this would be the vehicle.
Dude, how cool would that be?
There's season 3 for you.
If Theo Galvin was like precursor to the Court of Owls.
Well, he can't be a precursor.
Oh, hell yes.
The Court of Owls is, been around since Gotham was a one-horse town. But
well, yeah, no, I mean as far as like the narrative goes with like our introduction to the Court of Owls, like if he's a minion of the Court of Owls.
Right. Okay, yeah. Then
maybe
he's the first
one of the
maybe we find
assassins.
Out what he really is he's recruiting Talons when he's got all those guys in the
Yeah.
I think at this point we're just getting excited about an entirely different show.
I know, and I really hope it's not true. Like, I really hope that we're not getting excited about a different show. I hope that they actually just do it. I mean, how do you do Gotham?
But season 4, Court of Owls, come on.
Yeah, I mean, how do you overlook...
Season 2, Rise of the Villains. Season 3, Rise of the Heroes. Season 4, oh shit, there's a Court of Owls.
Yeah, how do you do a Gotham TV show and overlook the freaking Court of Owls, which has...
It's not part of the... I mean, it's canon. It's just not traditional,
I mean, these are characters that...
Yet.
Well, right, but these guys have... I mean, shit, man. They're going to go ahead and do all of the villains that we know and love. They're just going to go ahead and bring those guys in.
By the way, who is it that keeps buying flowers for Diane that works on Gotham? Because they're getting all the access to all the properties they want.
What? Who is Diane?
My nemesis.
Oh, I got you.
I just they're getting to do everything they want to do, and I guess it's because they decided to do something that was pre the real meat of the whole, the meat of the tradition, I guess. But
well, I don't think it's flowers so much as the souls of infants.
I wasn't even going to villainize Diane that far.
No, I'm going for it.
Oh, fine. Okay. I started this train. I'll buy another ticket.
Yeah. I mean, this is the unholy succubus that we have to deal with that won't let Batman show up on Arrow.
I'd almost forgotten why I hated her that much, and now I remember.
Yeah. So, anyway, there are things that I'm excited about on Gotham. I mean, I don't see how they're going to get around Court of Owls to some degree. I guess they could.
There's no problem getting around it. That was the beauty of how Snyder designed it. Was it something that could have feasibly been in the background the entire time, and you never had to notice it.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. It was a brilliant little piece of writing. It was.
This is a great story too.
It was.
Just on his face, just really cool. It's like the Illuminati of Gotham.
Yeah,
Shit.
He just did a damn good job, and it was something where he got away with adding to the entire mythos because he picked something out that he could streamline perfectly into everything you've ever known before was still true.
Yeah.
Also this. It's a hard thing to pull off, and he managed.
And these guys are so secretive and badass that even Batman is like, they don't exist. They're a myth.
Right. Yeah, he had looked into it a little bit, but he hadn't really bought it.
Until he finds himself in one of their freaking mazes.
Right. Tripping his ass off. Now, you've got... If they can do the same thing with Gotham, you're in good shape. Because something that Gotham has the opportunity to do is exactly fucking that. They get to tell a part of the story that doesn't get told a lot. So if they do something particularly well and it doesn't conflict with the rest of the canon, they can kind of sneak in and get another spoke on.
Right.
If they do it right.
If they do it right.
Like this whole thing with the cave and whatever Thomas was up to is a good opportunity. Because, Thomas doesn't get explored that much.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. And I stand by my assertion that the show would be best served if we do experience time jumps. I would.
I agree, but I could... Well, let me put it this way. I could agree with that. I don't want to see it yet.
Don't want to see it yet.
Not yet.
I agree with that. I don't want to see it yet, but...
Let's stay on the straight narrative for a minute. And then, season 3 would be a great idea.
I would take time jumps in season 2 over stupid filler episodes involving Butch dancing.
Oh, that was so bad.
I don't care what happened to Victor Saz.
Not unless he starts cutting himself.
Oh, he's already started doing that.
When did that happen? What did I miss?
Oh, there was a scene where we saw him like lift up his sleeve and he had like cuts all over his arms. Like he's still notching them. He's still notching them, man. He's notching them.
You're right. It's just not the same. Contract killer Zaz is just not the same as,
he's not
batshit crazy, wants to see the light drain out of your eyes while he watches you bleed Zaz. That's the guy that's kind of interesting.
Well, they did hint at that character being there. It's just that he's working for Carmine.
Well, yeah, but that's exactly the problem is they hinted at the character. He's not there.
Right. Right. And,
actors, it's a fun actor. I actually like I like what he's done. Just not his fault.
Looked better in The Flash.
He was. It was one of the weirdest characters that they could have used. I did. Arrow and Flash is for another time, sir. For another time.
I actually didn't like him better in The Flash. I liked him better on Gotham, but I just wanted to say that to bug you. As it was a little weird that he was in both, but whatever.
It bothers me. Is there not somebody else out there that looked like Billy Corgan that we could have used?
Wow.
What?
Billy Corgan. There's a name I haven't heard for a minute.
Well, how do you not think of it every time you see this cat?
Actually, I think of Billy Corgan every time I see Dave Foley.
Like a more Canadian.
Seriously, if Dave Foley was bald.
I get it.
Like, especially back in Kids in the Hall, News Radio Season 1 days. He looked like Billy Corgan, dude.
No, I agree. You could have Corgan do the put on some red hair and do the Dave Foley story.
Yeah. All right. So, do you anticipate at all getting to a point in Season 2 where were it not for the podcast, where you would stop watching Gotham?
Not yet. If it's anything, it's going to be too much focus on romance because it's just not what I'm looking for here, man. It doesn't.
I don't mind
unless
romance.
It adds to the story in some way and doesn't just fill time between places where I wanted to see Alfred beat somebody.
I feel like if it's a natural, organic progression of character growth, then it's fine.
Awesome. It's just not likely.
But, from what I saw in Season 1, like his transition from Barbara over to Leslie was really inorganic. I mean, not completely inorganic because Marina Baccarin is hot. So, I mean, she's just gorgeous.
Yeah, that's
so I can see that.
Woman. But
I mean, and suddenly
his
Jim
transition
Gordon became a massive horn dog.
Just short of arbitrary.
It was.
Yeah. No, it could be the romance thing. Chickless could get me. It's always that chance.
I don't understand your hatred for Chickless.
I don't either. It's just chemical. I'm not a cat person. I don't like Chickless. I love dogs and Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. It's just in my blood.
Okay. So
that could do it. If that whole Joker is an idea, not a person kind of thing, which is I'm not phrasing that right, but as a shorthand, you'll have to forgive me for it.
That's pretty much what they've said, though.
There's some nuance to it that doesn't sound as bad as what I just made it sound.
Well, they've said he's a pre-embryonic Joker, which makes me think that this is Joker's dad.
Right. Right.
But then they've also said it's more of an ideal, and more of a movement. So I don't know, but they are promising great
the Joker
things.
proper is going to be like Barbara and Jerome's kid.
Oh man!
Wait for it.
Oh man, that hadn't crossed my mind, and now is. Man, why did you have to go and say that?
No, and it is. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be a little Jimmy Gordon. That's the Joker.
Oh man, I don't want that. That's awful.
You might.
Talk about fan wank.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That could get now if they spend too much time on the whole Joker as a philosophy thing. Well, I'll take that back. They could spend all the fucking time they want on it if they do it well. It's just it's going to be a concept I have to get a little bit used to, and they're going to have to kind of walk me through it. Which is why I'm sitting here ready to watch 22, 24 good hours of this show over the next year.
Right.
Is because I'm happy to have them sit there and walk me through it. It's fine.
Right. I mean, they're promising great things. They're promising that our minds will be blown and whatnot over this Joker revelation, what they've got planned out.
Right. And I
swear to God, if it's Jason Todd, I'm going to be so pissed.
No. Although there's a Red Hood out there somewhere. All right. It didn't.
There is.
At the end of that episode, didn't a young boy grab the hood?
Yes.
I'm just saying.
And it ended on this ominous tone of a young redheaded boy picking up the hood and staring at it.
Like the only thing they could have done more is have the kid immediately walk over to a car and start stripping the tires off.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll be damned, man. They might as well have made that stupid red hood. They might as well have just made it like a damn Dr. Fate helmet. Because that's what they acted like. It was just like some magical force that was causing people to fight over it. And like the red hood has power. Oh, I hate you, Gotham writers. I hate you.
I don't know. I could do a quick social experiment and go makeshift myself a Red Hood and walk into public and see if I don't feel liberated somehow. It could be like, pretending you're a dinosaur. It's kind of more fun than it would seem.
Yeah, it's just, I felt like it was an unnecessary red herring. Like they were just like, oh, here's the Joker. And then you're like, oh. And then like 2 episodes later, it's like, oh, look, there's the Joker. Or is he? Ah.
Yeah, they did that to us all season. Which it was hard to get through as a season. It was kind of when you're waiting week for week and then you wait over the breaks and all that, it seems meaner than it is. If I was gorging myself on this show in retrospect, like this had already ended, it had 5 seasons, it quit, great, and I'm watching this thing on Netflix, I would have thought it was hilarious that they kept teasing the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
It's different
from
when you have
episode
to wait a whole
1. They
year.
were teasing the Joker.
I know.
They had that damn comedian up
With
on
a guy
stage
that
at
ended
Fish
up not
Mooney's.
looking too different from the guy that ended up being, Jerome. It was kind of like they had an idea for that, for what kind of tease they had. And there's even a laugh, like a very specific laugh in Arkham.
In Arkham.
Before Jerome was there.
Yeah. When they come back from a different break and Jim
Right.
Gordon's in Arkham.
Right.
Every time this show goes on break and they come back, it's a different show. I swear to God, it's a different show.
Well, that was
every time
something
it comes back from
McKinsey
break.
pointed out as having a problem, being a problem for them. That's another thing that actually does give me some hope. Is it seems to be an idea that's familiar to the people that have worked on it.
Right.
That they kind of were start and go for a couple of pieces there, and it did get a little disjointed, and maybe just squeezing in all these people was a little shoehorny. They'll try a different approach and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I
No.
Somebody. By the way, the electrocutioner, he's out there somewhere too. I want him back.
Yeah. Electrocutioner and amygdala is running around out there in Gotham somewhere.
Right.
He was a lot of fun.
I'll want him back.
He was both a lot of fun, but the climax of his episode was like maybe the worst thing I saw in Gotham.
It's possible, but
when he just turns the entire
character
GCPD into like an electricity conductor or whatever it was.
Right. That was one of those where like you're looking at that going, somewhere Tesla's just pissed off right now.
Somewhere Tesla's pissed off right now.
I'm not sure.
And somewhere, Donald Belisario is just so happy that they brought back cheesy lightning into a TV show.
Right.
I felt like I was watching an episode of Quantum Leap.
Right.
Like, God, you haven't gotten any better than this. Okay. I mean, it's been like 30 years. Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've still got cheesy lightning in the can. Okay. I didn't mind it. Don't get me wrong. It was not the best piece of action I've seen so far. But hey, I can still dig it. And when do you think? We're talking about the DC universe. Do you think we have a point? And call your shot where true powers start getting involved in Gotham. So
what
far,
do you mean
it's
by true
depowered.
powers?
So far, no one's a superhuman,
like superpowers
of any kind.
Well, there aren't a lot of metahumans in Gotham anyway. Like in the comics, like Joker's not a metahuman.
No. Gotham is a very grounded atmosphere, but it is in such a universe where you could play with it. Now, that's the point. Do you think they ever will?
Well, if they actually do Clayface, they will.
Yeah, I'm imagining that as like that will be a little bit of a step towards it, because that's a science experiment gone wrong.
Mr. Freeze also a science experiment gone wrong,
right? Which isn't quite the same as a green ring or something.
I would say Clayface is closer to metahuman because, regardless of what actually caused his transformation, he's still a creature with clay powers. Like
he's still got
shapeshifts,
metamorphic abilities. That's something.
Yeah,
that's not nothing.
Still got that, and I would surmise that knowing Gotham, how they'll bring him about is probably going to be in the guise of a master killer or thief who can change his face because he just knows how to use makeup and shit.
Right. That's what they'll do to him. He's just
I'm serious.
A master of disguise, and
I'm serious.
They won't even use that. Okay. Yeah. That really well could happen. Really, very well could happen.
And they'll probably bring Victor Freeze in. They'll probably bring Victor Freeze in as just like a scientist.
I know. And
now,
do you think they ever? Go ahead.
They might actually make him like proper Mr. Freeze by the end of this thing.
I don't know if they're quite ready on the show to get to the point where someone needs a suit to keep them alive. And
it's called Rise of the Villains. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. It's just I'm not quite sure.
I mean, we're in season 2, so it'll probably be more like, well, okay, well, he kind of had a little brush with some scientific stuff, so now he keeps the air on 65 degrees.
Right.
Like, Gordon's a little chilly every time he walks into the dude's office, you know.
Right. Not seeing breath chilly, just kind of, bit nippy.
I swear to God, man, if they have one more freaking character work for the GCPD, I'm going to be pissed off. Like, I don't want to see any more characters that I know and love that had a secret background as a cop.
Okay, gotcha. I was about to say, what about your precious Chickless? But I see.
Oh,
none of the
created
established
for the show.
Canon working for the GCPD. That's what you want, right?
Yeah. Chickless is made for the show. Yeah, like I don't want to see, God, I don't know. I don't want to see Cornelius Stirk working as a.
There we go. There we go.
I don't want to see this little cannibal Cornelius Stirk like working as a coroner, and he's like secretly eating people, and like Nigma stumbles across him, and we both have a secret.
Yeah. You don't want to see like a young deputized intern or something that plays football for Gotham High suddenly shows up.
No,
not looking for that.
I don't.
I could see oversaturating the GCPD as a thing, but there's somebody else that he's out there, and I'd like to see more. I want to. As soon as I see that kid, I forget who played Crane, who played the young Crane, but as soon as I see his name on a cast list somewhere, I'm gonna be very happy. I want him back.
I have no interest in seeing that kid again.
No, I do. I definitely do.
I don't. I would be happy if they just left Scarecrow right the hell where he is.
I want that to pay off at some point. I take it back. I don't even want him this year. I want him in like season 5 to wake up out of the coma and fuck some people up.
I mean, he's out of the coma. He's just perpetually like in fear of these giant Scarecrow monsters.
Yeah, I guess it's not a coma. You're right. It's just a complete mental break, but eventually he's got to come out of it.
Oh, I'll tell you what else I don't want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see, and they're already kind of hinting at it with this Silver St. Cloud bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 we get Selina, season 2 we get Silver St. Cloud. I'm going to be pissed off if they go further and have like Vicky Vale season 3, Julie Madison season 4. Like they're all little girls and they all like Bruce.
Get the like a young what's her name, Lisa Kane.
Yeah, I don't need any more. Please.
No,
don't.
Silver St. Cloud was already too much for me because she's one of those people where as soon as you bring her up, the only thing she can do is distract from Batman for me.
Right, which is as it is.
She was fine in the book. She's fine because she ends up being a reprieve for him. Like he finds this person who actually really knows who he is and is down with it, and that was interesting. But we're talking way before that has the opportunity to be that interesting.
Well, the only other person, honestly, I would say that there are 2 love interests for Bruce that would be able to get down with who he is, and I would say one of those is Selina Kyle because there are versions of the Batman mythos where they get married.
She knows.
She helps him on his quest, and then they grow old together, and their children become the successors.
Tiny Bat people.
The other person I would say is Barbara Gordon. And I know that that's a slap in the face to the fans. They hated when Dini and Tim and Burnett did it in the Batman animated series.
One of the only times Dini didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a deal breaker. It was just kind of I'd rather have not.
And it was,
Now, Talia. I mean, Talia is another example, though, of, knows who he is.
Talia can't ever get over her daddy issues long enough.
That's the big problem. She bores the crap out of me every time I see her because it's all about rage every time. And
she's like, "Oh, beloved," and then like 5 minutes later, she's stabbing Bruce, and you're like, "Why? Why?" And he's always surprised. He's always like, "Talia, why?"
Right?
Like, because
we were cool.
You oppose my father. I am sorry, beloved. By the way, here is our child. Take care of him.
Right. That's the worst part of Talia is eventually she gets you Damien.
Right.
Who's don't get me wrong, he's coming around in the book. They've started redoing him a lot. He's not the annoying little prick he was. And he kind of is, but I'm enjoying it more.
I actually liked Damien. I like him now. He's a fun little kid. Like he's almost
doing the DCAU straight to DVD stuff is with him and Bruce nowadays. It's great actually.
You know what he reminds me of though, in the comics?
A lot of fun.
He reminds me a lot of Alexander from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Worf's son.
Oh man, I don't know if I remember him at all.
Yeah, he was like in 2 seasons or something, and like he was like basically Worf's wife dies, and they had like a fling. They were married. They wound up getting married as per Klingon ritual or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then
so you cut off one of their arms.
Right. Well, she's an ambassador, and then she comes back. She winds up getting killed, and he has to take care of their small son. And on the Enterprise, and it's just this little kid named Alexander, and he's just like, "Yes, Father. Of course, Father. Father, I do not understand." Like, that's what Damien reminds me of. He's just this little bastard that's been raised by the League of Assassins, but finds
he's a little
Batman.
Is what he is. He's like the worst parts of Todd and Drake combined.
Nah, man. But he finds Batman's work very honorable, and like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I like him so much.
Most of the time I see Damien, he thinks his dad's a pussy. Because why aren't you killing these guys? I don't understand.
I know.
Why aren't you killing them?
Well, that was before. That was the initial, introduction to his father, like when he's hanging out with his dad. Like, and then later on it becomes more of a, I understand now, Father. But he's still a snarky little bastard.
Right. He's still, it's one of the only parts I liked about Batman Inc. is him getting shot.
Now, what I enjoy more about Damien is not so much Damien as Dick, Tim, and Jason's reactions to Damien.
Those are actually good. Yeah, because they all just want to just gang beat him. And the funny part is, I don't know if they could. I don't know if the 3 of them could take Damien.
And that's the fun part. Like, they're like, okay, this is like Bruce's assassin-trained biological son.
Right. I mean, he's one of those kids that, like, by age 8, he's getting advanced courses in international finance while beating up a Shaolin monk for his recess. Mm-hmm. This is a well-trained. He's a weapon. He's not even a human. And and they've had him and Dick face off in actually the recent movies. They had him and Dick face off. Dick doesn't do well. Dick doesn't do well at all.
Yeah.
Like, ass-handed. Hell, Batman and him fight. Doesn't go well for Batman. It's not easy. Yeah. I think he gets the W eventually, but it wasn't easy.
Which is interesting because that's the second character they've introduced in the last 15 years, I guess, or so. Maybe less. I can't remember exactly when she was introduced, but Cassandra Cain, who was Batgirl for a while,
right?
She was also trained by an assassin, and she was a mute. And the way she was trained is like she actually fights reading body language. She could actually fight Batman and take him down,
right,
and hand to hand. So that's interesting.
But that was just a cool character design, is what it was. That was neat concept, good placement, just good design.
I miss the character. I don't know what they did with her or where she just disappeared.
They realized they already had a katana, and she just sort of vanished.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'd take Cassandra Cain over katana, but that's a good call.
Sometimes katana grows on me.
Do you think they'll pull a Beware the Batman and try to bring katana over into Gotham?
God, no.
Just a thought.
I really don't think so, but
they are so off. Gotham is so off the rails on their timeline. Like, they just bring in characters whenever the hell they feel like it.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter that character shouldn't be born yet, or that character shouldn't be that old, or
not a problem. And you always imagine, Bruce in his prime as being like 29, just right in the middle of him getting the hang of being the Batman, and just right in the middle of his physical prowess being completely peaked. And you always imagine that all of these people are basically, contemporaries as far as their age.
Right.
It's something I've never even considered until certain things started happening. But I always assumed that, Joker was 29 too. Never occurred to me there'd be an age gap. I don't know why. I don't know. I guess I have no justification for it, but I sure as hell didn't have a reason not to think it.
Well, in the original books, like when you go back and look at the Joker, he looks a fair amount older than Batman. He looks like he's probably at least 10 to 15 years older than Batman, at least.
But I just assume that's because his face is creepy.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Penguin, it was obvious that he was older than Batman.
I assumed it's kind of like, Dolly Parton looks like she's about 150. She's not.
Well, Dolly Parton looks like she's about 40.
Maybe we're having an entirely different take on that.
Because she's had a lot of plastic surgery.
Well, I can see all the surgeries. That's why I feel like it's better.
Right.
Keeps having new young faces strapped over hers. Quick question.
Okay.
Would you accept it if it happened? Bruce joins a Little League team just because Alfred wants to get him, socialized a little bit better.
Little League of Assassins? No.
No.
I won't accept it.
No. I wasn't even going to do that to you.
Okay.
Why would you do that to me? God damn.
Coach Raish, he kicked
Coach Raish. I'm just thinking, he maybe gets to a Little League team and turns out like the best hitter on the team is named Clark.
Uh-huh. Oh, man.
Would that be too much for you or just right on? Don't you have to follow through with it? He just meets a Clark one day, they have a nice conversation, and you never see him again.
Yeah, I would be down for that. Joins a Little League team, sure. Like, Alfred's forcing him to do it. He doesn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And then they, go up against, whatever.
Yeah. Now, in this case,
Smallville Saints or something.
It would probably be Coach Kent in this case. You got to imagine he's pitching in, helping coach Little League.
Oh, yeah. Clark's dad is totally Jonathan Kent
coach.
is totally the Little League coach. Do it for sweeps right before Batman v Superman comes out.
Right.
Have Coach Kent, that's my boy. And then, but Jonathan Kent probably wouldn't let his son be on a Little League team. It'd be
not unless he had
dangerous.
thoroughly schooled him in how to dumb down his muscles. Because even by Little League age, he should be able to take the string out of the middle of a baseball.
No, what I wouldn't mind, that would bother me, but what would be cool is if they just actually did the story that there's
the black and white story.
There's a little it wasn't a black and white, but
I think it is a black and white. If I know,
it was not a black and white.
No, it's not. You're right.
I think it's actually. I know it from a backup story in the trade paperback for Batman and Superman: Public Enemies.
Yep.
That Ed McGuinness and Jeff Loeb did, but it's I don't know when Bruce met Clark, and it's Bruce is on some adventure or whatever with Alfred. They wind up in Smallville. The car breaks down, and they actually do get help from the Kents. And Bruce and Clark play for a little while, and Bruce realizes that Clark is different. I'd have no problem doing that.
Yeah, they kind of quietly. Bruce realizes that he's different, and Clark realizes that he realizes that, and their takeaway is Clark is just thrilled that he met someone who wasn't afraid of him.
Yeah.
I'd be down in a heartbeat. And the funny part is, I don't think it'd make a lot of sense to bring it in at all as the show. I don't know if any kind of superpower is ever going to come in. You're not going to meet anyone like that. I think in Gotham in general, Arrow's doing a thing where now they're expanding and they're getting more and more into true powers, and now they're going to get into magic and mysticism. And I don't think Gotham's ever going to go down that road, and it's fine. It's fine with me. But a quick little one shot like that would delight me, and I would know it's never going to have a payoff, and I'd be okay with that. Or even pull someone that's a little less obvious, somebody comes in town, he meets somebody at an aviation show, and it's a tiny Hal Jordan. They hang out and have a hot dog. Way before Hal Jordan would be anything special,
Yeah, and just have Alfred be like, "Oh, looks like you've made a friend, Master Bruce." And he's like,
"Right,
wouldn't go that far. He's arrogant."
Right. The ego on that kid.
Yeah, I'd be down for something.
He did know a lot about airplanes.
If they did it too much, it would obviously just be fan wink.
It would be awful, too far, but just a couple though. But one even would be a lot of fun and something you could get away with. You actually could.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about season 2 of Gotham? What to expect?
Man, I think we hit most everything I've got. A lot of the characters. Only want to remember wanting to see more. It's one of the reasons I wanted to keep Selina around. I want more Ivy, and I only seem to get Ivy if Selina's around. So I want to see what Ivy's about, because that's a creepy little girl.
I'll see. I think it would be okay if they didn't have Selina around for everything Ivy does. You don't have to do that.
Right. I'd like her to break out and be able to show up without Cat there. But
yeah, I would like to see more Ivy. She was interesting. When she wasn't just hanging out in Barbara's apartment, but
even then, it was just it was just nice to see her again, because it'd been 5 episodes at that point. Every time it happened,
yeah.
But God, the first couple times you meet her, and she they walk away from her, and Bruce starts to turn around. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. Don't look at her.
Well, I'll say this: I don't ever want to see the doll maker again.
Oh God, no. Oh, some of the worst some of the worst graphics I've personally seen. I'm sure they're not the worst on television, but some of the worst graphics I've been privy to.
And it pains me that my beloved Jeffrey Combs was privy to that. And
was the recipient of it. I know. No, it's not the worst graphics he's ever been involved in either. But
oh no,
by a very long shot.
Hello, Reanimator.
What up? Yeah, I would like for that storyline to end. It was fascinating early on when they were kidnapping kids, and then it just turned into that.
Yeah, it was always weird for me. Like when Lily Thompson or whatever her name is shows up, I just kept expecting John Cusack to come out. She's like in every John Cusack movie. They're friends. Like,
right.
It's weird to see one without the other.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've covered it. I do. Hopefully we've managed to put a little bit of hope in there to cut some of Dave's enthusiasm.
I mean, it actually does. It honestly, what we didn't talk about was Tigress.
Yeah, but I had nothing to say. Honest to God, just have nothing to say. Not one thought hanging around.
Me either. She's got a whip. Selina might see that whip. That's all I'm saying.
Get some ideas. Sure, that would be fun. Actually, it's when they take her down, it ends up being that could be a lot of fun. Just at the end of the season, Tigress gets her comeuppance. However the hell that ends up happening. Assume Chickless is involved, and the whip,
nothing.
The whip just kind of gets lost in the fray, and then Cat comes across it. It'd be great.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap us up for our Gotham preview. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments on iTunes or Stitcher. While you're over there, give us a 5-star rating and a review. I'm sorry. We're not normally I'm not normally this down on this stuff. Like Gotham's got some time to. They got a long way to go to win me back over completely. But to be fair, it's just because I love these characters so much.
I know. I'm hoping the problem is that you were expecting wine and you just got sour grapes. It's just got to age on you a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the same for me because, I'm as likely as you mid-season to go, fuck this. Are you kidding? What the hell do you think you're doing? Mm-hmm. Why is Clayface a makeup artist? Yeah.
So, go over there and to iTunes or Stitcher and give us favorable reviews and all that good stuff because it really does help us out. If you'd like a similar podcast about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, go check out our friends Matt Carroll and Jeff Randall at the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. You can find them also on iTunes and Stitcher and MCUcast.com. Both podcasts, us and them, we're both part of the Giant Size Team Up Network. And I guess we'll see you guys next week with some more news and an episode. What is it? Arrow / the Arrow
Flash.
Preview?
They're going to air Tuesday and Wednesday respectively. So we're just going to hit them both up.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, keep some DC on your screen because, God, we're clearly going to. Take it easy.
Well, shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
Are you ready for a rewarding career in the electrical industry? Quality Electric of the Coastal Carolinas, QECC, is looking for qualified electricians and electrical helpers to join its Charleston team. QECC offers guaranteed full-time hours, make up to $30 per hour with possible performance bonuses and career growth opportunities. Enjoy benefits like health insurance, dental and vision coverage, 401k plans, and more. If you're a motivated, experienced electrician, this job is for you. QECC is an equal opportunity employer. For all job inquiries, send email to hr@qeccinc.com.